Hello, welcome to Certified Jams. Today we're talking about the song Weird Fishes / Arpeggi by Radiohead, and I'm going to tell you why it's a certified jam. So good. All right, so we talked about Radiohead on a previous video. One of my favorite bands of all time. Absolutely love them. I spoke on that video where we reviewed the song Letdown about my favorite two Radiohead albums. One of them is OK Computer and the other one is In Rainbows. In my opinion, and this is completely subjective, everyone has their own opinions, those two records are at the top of the list in terms of Radiohead. So today we're going to do a song off of In Rainbows, and in my opinion it's just a stunning song, one of the best songs off this album, and that's Weird Fishes / Arpeggi. So this song is so interesting for tons and tons of reasons. So In Rainbows was Radiohead's 7th studio record. This is actually the first record they released after their original record deal with EMI sort of ended. So this was the first one that they kind of self-released initially. I think they actually sold it on their website and you could sort of pay what you wanted, which I remember at the time was really interesting. And then I think after that, they distributed it through some other means. But originally, you could get it on their website. So that was kind of unique at the time. And this record to me is just like stunning, kind of in the same way that OK Computer is kind of very different. And just like overall, just sonically so interesting. This album is also very interesting sonically. It was produced by Nigel Godrich, who also produced OK Computer. So it makes sense that these are both two of my favorite records because they have very similar, not similar sounds. They're very different sounding, but they're interesting in the same sort of ways. And this song here to me really stands out. What makes this song so interesting to me is the driving drums. So Philip Selway, the drummer, is just like a metronome, and these drums are just perfect. And then on top of that, these like perfectly structured drums is this like floating layered guitar arpeggios basically, that sort of make you feel like you're both floating and underwater at the same time, which then also really ties into like the lyrical themes of the song where he's singing about being underwater and in the ocean and all this sort of stuff. So really beautiful song where the lyrics really tie in together with the feel and the tone of the music. Just amazing. So yeah, like I mentioned, the guitars are amazing. They're sort of layered where there's these two both playing arpeggios, which is basically when you take a chord and you pick, you individually play the strings of the chord in like a pattern. And so both of these guitars are doing that, but they're playing different patterns. So it's really interesting. And then at a certain point, another guitar comes in, and then the entire way the bass, so Colin Greenwood's bass is just sort of creating this groove. It's really stripped down, but beautiful. And then the way the song just sort of explodes, it builds up and then just sort of explodes into this like euphoric sort of feeling. And it's just so amazing. So anyways, that's a lot of blabbing. Let's get into it. And as we go, we can sort of talk about some of the reasons why this song is so amazing. This is Weird Fishes / Arpeggi by Radiohead. Guitar. So this is where a guy like Nigel Godrich, the producer, can have such a big impact on the sound of a song. So if you listen to the way those vocals are treated, just like perfectly supports the feel and the tone of the rest of the song, and sort of makes you feel like you're floating in this sort of like pocket or underwater, as the lyrics sort of illustrate. Really interesting, like reverb, and there's a bit of a delay on there. It's just beautiful. And then the guitars are fairly sparse, like there's not a lot. They're pretty clean, but because there's two of them, it sort of creates this like floating kind of feeling because they're kind of playing off each other. It's beautiful.
Why should I stay here? Why should I stay? I'd be crazy not to fall.
So that's where the third guitar comes in. It's kind of off to the side here. And once again, it's a completely different pattern. It's playing different notes, and it all just sort of blends in with. So now there's three guitars, which is amazing.
Follow where you lead. Your eyes, they tell me turn me on a phantom. I follow to the end of the earth.
Oh man, it's so good. So that's where it sort of just explodes into this euphoric kind of sound, where the verses sort of like come to this like crescendo, and then the background vocals, which I think is Ed O'Brien, one of the guitar players, just like perfectly sort of like complements what Tom York's doing with his vocals, but it's like off in the background. It's in a higher register, and it just sort of sounds almost angelic. And then that just really lends to that like euphoric explosion that happens. It's just perfect.
Yeah, everybody leave. If they get the chance of me, it's my chance. I get eaten by the worms and wade fishing.
So here you can almost hear, it sounds like there's like a arpeggiated synth of some sort that I think is only in this little breakdown part. I couldn't hear it before. And then I think some of the guitars sort of fall out. It's interesting.
Picked over by the worms and wade fishing. Wade fishing. Wade fishing.
This part's amazing. They introduced this completely different bass groove. It's just like another complete different part of the song that's just amazing. Really sort of adds to the way this song like ends, I think. all kinds of atmospheric stuff in the background. I'm assuming it's just synths and pads that they've just sort of slowly brought in, and just to sort of raise the dynamics of the whole song. So perfect. Yeah, beautiful song. I love how it just ends like as abruptly as it starts with just the drums. So perfect. It's like a perfect example of what, like, why they're unique. They have this like brilliant rhythm section, and then just three really, really interesting guitar parts doing completely different things. And because there's three guitar players in the band, they can reproduce this live. There's this amazing video. I'll link it down in the description. It's called From the Basement, where they perform basically this entire album in this sort of studio environment, and it's amazing. It's well worth watching multiple times. But in this song in particular, you can really see how they play it live, and they're just doing it live off the floor, and it sounds exactly like the record. It's perfect. Anyways, one of my favorite Radiohead songs from one of my favorite Radiohead albums. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching. If you like this video and this song, chances are you'll like other songs I talk about on my channel. So check it out. Subscribe, like the video. It really, really helps. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks very much.